Tonight, the surprising Oval Office meeting. President Trump side by side with New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani. What the polarizing political rivals did when the camera started rolling. The shocking shift in tone after months of trading insults. The Republican president and Democratic socialist now shaking hands and sharing compliments. And we'll show you the moment at the Resolute desk the mayor-elect was asked if he thinks President Trump is a fascist. Also tonight, the president doubling down on his suggestion that some Democratic lawmakers could be guilty of sedition, punishable by death. Some of those Democrats say they now need 24/7 security. The new strikes in Ukraine blasting apart buildings. And tonight, for the first time, the president's peace deal promising to defend Ukraine against a future Russian attack, what Ukraine would have to give up for that type of protection. Holiday travel warning, the storms rolling in that could snarl Thanksgiving travel. We're timing it out. An update to our report on the pregnant woman in labor, sent home, giving birth in her car moments later. What the hospital did after our report aired. The stunning rescue, the moment an 86-year-old man lost in the woods for 4 days was found alive, and how this heat-seeking drone located him. A line of ambulances after a grizzly bear attacked school kids and teachers on a hike, injuring 11, how their teacher fought him off. The deadly air show crash, a fighter jet crashing into a ball of fire. The health alert tonight. Why are more young women with no history of smoking being diagnosed with lung cancer?
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas.
And good evening. Many thought it would be a tense Oval Office face-off, but when President Trump and New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani met today, it was anything but. Months of threats and heated rhetoric suddenly flipped to this.
The better he does, the happier I am.
I appreciated the time with the president.
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought.
The leader of the free world and the soon-to-be leader of the country's biggest city saying they found common ground on an issue impacting so many of you. Cost of living. It's a shocking twist after months of President Trump threatening to pull federal funding from New York if Mamdani won. So what changed? Garrett Hake is at the White House and starts us off tonight.
Tonight, in a Hollywood-style twist,
I tell you, the press has eaten this thing up.
President Trump and incoming New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani trading their past clashes for compliments.
The better he does, the happier I am.
I appreciated the time with the president. I appreciated the conversation.
A stunning shift after repeatedly blasting each other for weeks.
Their party installed a communist as the mayor of the largest city in the nation.
Donald Trump attacks the very fabric of this democracy.
The president was asked about those past clashes.
I mean, he's got views that are a little out there, but who knows? I mean, we're going to see what works, or he's going to change also. We all change. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually.
The president's warm welcome included stepping in when a reporter pressed Mamdani on his past attacks on the president.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Mamdani saying he found common ground with the president after speaking with Trump voters in deep blue New York City.
There were more New Yorkers who voted for President Trump in the most recent presidential election because of that focus on cost of living, and I'm looking forward to working together to deliver on that affordability agenda.
They have starkly different views. Mamdani, a Democratic socialist, has pledged rent freezes and government-run grocery stores and criticized law enforcement, including ICE.
We discussed this at great length, actually, maybe more than anything else. He wants to have a safe New York. If there are horrible people there, we want to get them out. I think he wants to get them out maybe more than I do.
And the president was asked if he'd feel comfortable with Mayor Mamdani in his hometown.
Yeah, I would. I really would, especially after the meeting. The question is, we bring it back all the way? And if he can, we'll be out there cheering. I'll be cheering for him. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody.
Garrett, let's pick it up right there. The president famously moved from Trump Tower to Mar-a-Lago permanently, saying he was being treated unfairly by city and state leaders in New York. But today, saying he would be open to moving back?
Well, Tom, the president also predicted New Yorkers would flee to Florida to escape a Mamdani-led New York City. But tonight he said he'd absolutely be comfortable living in New York under this incoming mayor. Tom?
All right, Garrett Hake leading us off tonight. Garrett, we thank you for that. The president also defending his claims that some Democratic lawmakers should be tried for sedition, even floating the death penalty after they put out a video telling troops to disobey any illegal orders. Now, those lawmakers say they need full-time security. Here's Ryan Nobles.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
Tonight, President Trump defending his suggestion that 6 Democratic lawmakers who put out this video telling troops they could disobey illegal orders were guilty of seditious behavior, punishable by death.
I'm not threatening death, but I think they're in serious trouble. In the old days, it was death. If I ever said that and there were a Democrat as president, all hell would have broken loose.
Tonight, some of those Democrats telling us they now need 24/7 security.
No one should be happy when we're threatening violence against people who we just don't agree with.
Are you getting more threats now as a result of this?
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting more threats. You know, when the President of the United States tweets out death threats and says the things that he says, that stirs things up a lot.
But Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth calling the Democratic video stage 4 Trump derangement syndrome. The White House says it sends a dangerous message to troops. Trump allies blasting the video.
That's BS. They knew what they were doing. They created a political stunt to get a response, and they didn't like the response.
But some Republicans criticizing both Democrats and the president.
I don't think there's any place for that. I think it's unacceptable. I mean, I didn't like the video either.
And so what do you think the president should have done differently in that case?
I mean, that rhetoric is not acceptable.
Ryan, let's also talk about the politics here, right? It is D.C. Both sides really trying to keep the focus on this video?
Yeah, Tom, for Republicans, it's an opportunity to call out Democrats and remind them that President Trump is still the commander-in-chief, and they're saying that he's issued no illegal orders. For Democrats, though, it's their opportunity to show their voters that they're willing to stand up to President Trump. Tom?
All right, Ryan, we thank you. We are getting our first look tonight at the new peace proposal by President Trump for Ukraine. President Zelensky saying the country faces one of the most difficult moments in their history. Here's Keir Simmons tonight.
Ukraine tonight under more pressure from Russia's unrelenting onslaught. And now President Zelensky facing President Trump's deadline for an answer on a new U.S. peace proposal by Thanksgiving.
We think we have a way of getting peace. He'll have to like it, and if he doesn't like it, then, they should just keep fighting, I guess.
U.S. officials say the 28-point plan gives Ukraine something it's seeking, a U.S.-backed security guarantee based on NATO's Article 5 if Russia were to attack again. But it also asks Ukraine to make major concessions, including ruling out joining NATO, reducing its army, and handing territory to Russia that it has not lost.
They got to give up some land that they have not lost in the war.
They will lose in a short period of time. They're losing land. It's a bloodbath.
Russia, which invaded Ukraine, is asked to concede little. Ukraine's President Zelensky calling it a difficult moment in an emergency address. Now Ukraine may find itself facing a very difficult choice, either loss of dignity or the risk of losing a key partner, he said. Russia's President Putin says he has seen the plan and is ready to resolve issues peacefully, but the Russian leader, who this week appeared in military fatigues, also threatening to achieve his objectives through armed struggle. There's a flurry of diplomacy. Zelensky holding an emergency call with European leaders and a call with Vice President Vance, saying Ukraine views every realistic plan positively. Tom?
Keir Simmons with that tough choice for Ukraine tonight. Keir, we thank you. Back here at home, just as we're about to start what the FAA expects to be the busiest holiday travel season in 15 years, a major storm is set to sweep across the country right as millions of Americans are filling airports and freeways. Bill Cairns is here tonight for us. And Bill, time this out for us.
Yeah, the forecast has gotten slightly better for some areas, but we still have some problem spots. And I'm mostly looking at you, Texas, and once again heading into areas of Arkansas and maybe even Tennessee. This is all going to be Sunday night into Monday. Another round of very heavy rainfall. We could see isolated flash flooding, rainfall totals as high as 3 to 6 inches, and they just got done with a huge storm yesterday. As far as travel goes, obviously anyone driving Interstate 20, Interstate 40, heading from New Mexico into Texas. Also, the Dallas airport late Sunday will be one of the travel trouble spots. But the roads are fine on Sunday heading for the East Coast. By the time we get to the busiest travel day, and that's Wednesday, isolated problems on the East Coast. That's what's improved, Tom. The rain on the East Coast doesn't look as bad.
We'll take that improvement. All right. Thanks so much, Bill. Now to a terrifying incident in Canada, a grizzly bear attack. The bear attacking students and their teachers out on a hike, injuring nearly a dozen. Tonight, authorities say that bear is still on the loose. Here's Morgan Chesky.
A dramatic scene outside a Canadian hospital. Ambulances lined up. A heartbroken Indigenous community showing support following a bear attack on elementary school children during a hike.
I want to thank the teachers for their heroism, their early accounts of their willingness to confront this vicious animal.
The attack happened on a walking trail in the Newhawk Nation community of Bella Coola, roughly 250 miles northwest of Vancouver. Officials say the group was resting Thursday afternoon when the grizzly rushed in.
Teachers put themselves in harm's way to protect the children. They successfully repelled bear spray and used bear spray and bear bangers to ward off the bear.
That device, called a bear banger, using a non-lethal cartridge.
Let it go.
To scare animals with a bang. It worked, letting students escape and launching a massive search for the bear. It's the latest in a string of frightening bear encounters. In Pennsylvania, a 300-pound black bear jumped over a counter after chasing a boy inside a store. While on Wednesday, authorities say another black bear left a Nevada couple scratched up after a broken side looking for food.
And tonight in Canada, with the bear's whereabouts still unknown, authorities say officers are armed and they're telling residents to stay indoors and not walk anywhere. Tom?
Morgan Chesky for us. Now to a new video of a dramatic rescue in Florida. Officers used drones to help find an elderly man who had been missing in the woods for 4 days. Their body cameras were rolling the moment they finally found him. Here's George Solis with that video.
We got you. He's alive. He's alive.
This dramatic body cam video capturing the moment 86-year-old Donald Keaton was found alive.
Donald, you all right, bud?
After nearly 4 days missing in the wilderness near Vero Beach, Florida.
You got water at all?
For 80 hours, law enforcement searched for him by ground.
Donald, do you hear me?
And air.
I see him moving, so it was like...
Keaton, who has dementia and Parkinson's disease, eventually found under mud and a patch of palms.
All right, we got you, okay?
Authorities say Keaton was breaking them to try and get himself out of a hole he'd fallen into.
I got EMS coming for you, okay?
That movement, just enough for a drone pilot to pick up his heat signature.
All right, you made it. Great job.
Without this technology, he would not be alive today.
Keaton's wife, Joyce, says they were staying at an RV park when Donald told her he was going for a walk.
We got you.
Keaton now dealing with cuts and bug bites, but he's expected to make a full recovery.
I just want to thank all of you for bringing my husband back home.
Joyce says her husband never gave up hope.
He started praying, and that's what the prayers from all over the country, basically, because we have friends in all different places, but the prayers is what saved him.
A great number of resources were used in this rescue. Those drone pilots were in the air 26 hours before Keaton was found in that thick brush. Tom?
All right, George, thank you. In 60 seconds, the mother who was stunned to find she has lung cancer and never smoked. Why are young women getting the disease more often? We'll explain. We're back now with a health alert. Doctors telling us they are seeing more young women with no history of smoking being diagnosed with lung cancer. Maggie Vespa now with what you need to know.
An active Chicago mother in her mid-40s, Danielle Hoig, was stunned.
Did you ever think that you were someone who could get lung cancer?
No, never.
Early last year, this scan showing this white mass proved her wrong.
I thought, well, no way do I have lung cancer because I don't smoke.
Her doctor delivering a second blow.
He said to me, it does look like cancer. And oh, by the way, you're not the first young female I've seen today that has lung cancer.
Doctors we spoke with from around the country say they're seeing more young women like Danielle with no history of tobacco use diagnosed with lung cancer. And a new study from Northwestern Medicine shows 65% of people diagnosed with lung cancer today don't qualify for regular screenings that could have caught the disease sooner. That's because current screening guidelines only cover adults 50 to 80 years old who've smoked the equivalent of a pack a day for 20 years. Among those diagnosed too late, Northwestern researchers say more younger non-smokers, the majority women.
They're like, what did I do wrong? I've not smoked. I've never had alcohol. I eat healthy. I exercise. I have stage 4 lung cancer.
Chief of Thoracic Surgery, Dr. Ankit Bharat.
Do we know why lung cancer rates are on the rise among younger women who have never smoked? Do we know why this is happening?
Well, we actually don't right now.
Dr. Bharat says the culprit could be environmental factors like air pollution or things more commonly inhaled by women like cosmetics, aerosols, gas stoves, or cleaning products. But none of that is proven. What is known, lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer deaths nationwide. Dr. Bharat is now calling to change the screening guidelines to include all adults 40 to 85. Hoig, whose cancer was caught early by an unrelated scan and treated, still wonders. Why her?
I could have died and my children would have been without their mom. Really, anyone can get it.
Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Chicago.
And we're back in a moment with a terrifying video of a jet crash at an air show overseas. Nightly News back right after this. We're back now with an update to a story we brought you last night. Mercedes Wells was in labor for hours in an Indiana hospital, but then discharged without ever seeing a doctor, only to give birth moments later in her car. Zincle Esenwal reported this story out and tonight has a major update. Zincle, what'd you learn?
Yeah, Tom, that's right. Mercedes Wells was at Franciscan Health in Crown Point, Indiana, and breaking today, the hospital's president and CEO, Raymond Grady, says in part, we must fix what we failed in our hospital. The physician and the nurse directly involved with Mrs. Wells' care are no longer employed by Franciscan. I apologize to Mrs. Wells and her family. Tom, of course, this video going viral, not just resonating, but renewing concerns about racial disparities. The CEO also adding that he has mandated cultural competency training for all labor and delivery staff, Tom.
All right, an important update there. Zincle, we thank you for that. We want to head overseas now. A terrifying scene at an air show in Dubai. Look at this, an Indian fighter jet stalling, then losing altitude mid-flight before going down and bursting into flames. The Indian Air Force said that the jet pilot was killed in the crash. And back in the U.S., a damaged fire hydrant caused heavy destruction to a gas station in Southern California. Look at this. A driver hit a puddle nearby, causing the car to spin out and hit the hydrant. You can see all that water shooting to the air and crashing back down on the gas station below. And a rare Superman comic book from 1939 just became the most expensive comic book ever sold. This copy of Superman #1 sold for more than $9 million at auction. The book was found by a Northern California family last year as they cleaned out their late mother's attic. That beat out the previous comic book record of $6 million for a copy of Action Comics #1 last year. And that does it for us tonight. That's Nightly News for this Friday. I'm Tom Llamas. Thanks so much for watching tonight. And always, we're here for you. Good night. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.